It's not too late to create Valentine's craft using Dollar Tree supplies. This adorable wood planked heart is from the Dollar Tree. And those little corrugated metal hearts came from another piece from the Dollar Tree. And then that burlap roll also comes from the Dollar Tree. They came in different colors. This is going to be so easy and so affordable. First thing, I'm going to cut off the tag and take off the jute. Next, I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint everything on the front except one of the planks. On the plank that I don't paint, I'm going to be putting my strip of burlap. Also painted those little in-between areas and the edges. I'm going to use my heat tool to dry the paint so I can move on. Now that the front side is painted everywhere that I want, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to paint the entire back side with that same white chalk paint. Do you guys decorate for Valentine's? I don't normally do that, so that's why I made these more neutral. I thought they would kind of fit my decor. I'm going to add back the jute hanger, but I end up changing it afterwards, you'll see. Now I'm going to take my burlap and I'm going to cut a piece that fits across that one plank that I did not paint. Just kind of checking it out to see if it'll fit. And I'm actually just going to hot glue it down. But first I'm going to pull off strands all the way around because I want it to be like kind of frayed around the edges. I like that look with the burlap. It's a little bit more, rustic. I'm not going to use a lot of hot glue because, it comes right through the burlap. So I'm just going to put little dots here and there that you won't see once I put the piece down. And of course, I'm using my little spatula. I got mine on Amazon, but they also sell them at the Dollar Tree. Because if you put your fingers on there, you will definitely get burned through the burlap. So please be careful if you do that. I'm going to trim any pieces that are overhanging, and then I end up trimming a little bit in between the planks because it was just getting kind of long there. I'm going to go in there and get that all trimmed up. And there it is. So now we can move on and place the corrugated metal hearts. I love the combination of the wood, the burlap, and the metal. It's just such a cool combination. I'm just going to add some hot glue to each of the back of the hearts and place them, wherever I think they'll look cute. You can put them wherever you want. Be super careful when you are touching the metal. It does get very hot from the glue. I'm also always looking for those stupid glue webs. Does anyone else go crazy with those? I mean, I can't figure out how to get rid of them, so I'm always picking them off everything, including myself. I really love the way this looks. It's so easy and cute. I decided, instead of the jute hanger that came with it, I'm going to put some of my beads that I got on Amazon, and I started to string them. Of course, the end of the jute gets frayed, so I put a little piece of tape around the end real tight, and that makes it very easy to thread the beads. So there's a little hack for you if you're working with beads and jute. Now I'm going to put as many as I think will fit for the length I want for the hanger, and I'm just going to keep stringing them. If you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button. It helps YouTube show my videos to more people, and I truly appreciate it. And then I will pull the jute right through the holes, but from the back, because I love the knots in the front. And all that's left to do is tie the knots in the front. I'm going to put a dab of hot glue underneath them so they stay in place, and then trim the tops of the jute. I love this one. So easy. It will go with anything. It's so neutral, and it's adorable. I hope you guys love it. I'm going to be using this cute little sign from the Dollar Tree, and then I took some book pages and I used my Cricut to cut out some little heart shapes. Of course, you can cut these by hand, or if you have like a little scrapbooking punch, you could do that too. And then I also did one red heart with some scrapbook paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is unwrap the plastic on this sign, and then I'm going to turn it over and open up the back. They made this one easy by actually putting little metal pieces you could slide over and pull them out, so I didn't have to like cut anything. And I'm going to take this piece and sand it down. It didn't need much. I don't mind that it's textured. That actually looks pretty cool. And once I do that, I am going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the entire top of this, and I'm going to give it a couple coats to make sure that I cover the words that were on there. I will use my heat tool to dry it, and then I will go ahead and add another coat, like I said, because it really was hard to cover those words, but it worked. I got them covered. The next thing that I'm going to do is take my little hearts and I'm going to fold them right in half. Almost like they were a butterfly in flight, if that makes sense. I'm going to do that to all of them except the red heart. I'm just going to place them on there and kind of decide the positioning that I want. I had seen this on Pinterest, but I kind of modified it to fit what I had to work with. So I'm just figuring out if I need to cut any more hearts or if I have enough. It turns out that I do have enough, and this is where I'm going to place them all. And the way that I'm going to set them on there is using a little bit of hot glue kind of on that that pointy side of the fold of each of the hearts so that they open up while you're looking at them, and they're just like three-dimensional. And the only one that's gonna lay flat is the red one. So I'm just gonna hot glue them all on there. That is really all there is to this one. I put the piece back inside and it's gorgeous. I hope you guys like this one. DIY, we're going to take one of those little mason jar signs from the Dollar Tree, and wait till you see all the things I try to do to get this thing off. Oh my gosh. So I put some heat on it. I use a putty knife. I start scraping at it with a blade. Oh my gosh, I'm serious. This thing was crazy. Finally, after I got off the felt, I just sanded it. I just sanded the whole thing down, and that took care of it. Well, this left a lot of the sanding dust, so I used my little ladybug vacuum. I went ahead and cleaned it up, and then I put some heat on the labels and got rid of those. Now I'm going to mix some of the plaster Waverly chalk paint along with a little bit of the red, I think it's acrylic paint actually, and come up with this pink, which I really love. I do love the softer colors, and then I'm going to touch up all the places where I went over the edge with the plaster around the edges of the, because I tend to make a real mess when I paint, and I don't want to pretend like I don't. And now I'm going to whitewash over the top with a little bit of the plaster just to give it kind of that fun look. Now I'm going to take some nautical rope and I'm going to wrap it around the top of what would be the mouth of the mason jar and just hot glue that right on there. Now I'm going to use some of these window clings from the Dollar Tree. They were so cute. And I'm just going to cut out some of the hearts. Now I had already used one of the hearts, but I liked the idea of cutting out the shape behind it, which was white. 3 of them are going to be window clings and 1 is just a little piece of cardboard. And I'm going to go ahead and get my Mod Podge out and I'm going to attach them. And as I mentioned before, the white one, which is just cardboard, it's not a window cling, it's going to kind of lift up on one of the edges and it's going to take a little doing to get that thing to stay. The other ones were easy. Oh my gosh. Lay down the Mod Podge, put down the hearts, and put the Mod Podge over the top, and they were great. The white one, you see that when you're facing it, the left little curve sticking straight up. So I ended up having to push it down with my fingers, keep putting Mod Podge underneath, over the top, but eventually it does stick. You know, I show the stuff that doesn't go well because I just want everyone to know that crafting doesn't always turn out perfect and sometimes things are more difficult. So I just want to be real about it and show you as much as possible. I have some wooden beads that I ordered off of Amazon. They sell beads at Dollar Tree and Walmart as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint them pink and then kind of like an off-white, kind of pinkish off-white. And I'm going to put them on some jute twine and wrap them around where you would put the lid on the jar, kind of where the little grooves are. And I thought that would be a really cute little embellishment. When I paint beads, I like to put them on a skewer and I put something at the end, like I have a piece of tape wrapped there so they won't fall off the bottom. And it's so much easier to paint them on the skewer. My fingers don't get really dirty and I can get in between the grooves with a little brush. This is a soft bristle brush, so it's really getting right in between there. And I just leave them on there to dry. Sometimes I stick them in a piece of foam or whatever. And now I'm just going to paint the back with that leftover kind of whitish pink because I don't want to leave it unfinished and I just want to make it look really nice. I'm going to go ahead and string the beads like I mentioned and make that little kind of garland to go around the top. I have these little wooden hearts that I got from Dollar Tree. They have little stickers on the back. And I'm using this awesome tool called a crocodile. Got it off Amazon. Man, that thing can cut through metal and wood so easily. Anyway, I put those holes in. That way I can add them to this garland when I string it around the top of the little wooden mason jar. And I'm just hot gluing the back of the twine to the mason jar so that it will stay in place. And I'm kind of figuring out how I want to place it and how I'm going to kind of make it look at the end. And I'm tying the ends of the twine off to one side, and now I'm going to string those hearts right through. And I actually decide to turn the little plain wooden one around the opposite direction, and so now I'm going to have to take off the little sticker and I'm going to paint it white. You guys, this little piece of Valentine decor turned out so cute. You could put it on a 3-tier tray or just anywhere in your house. It would look great no matter what you did with it. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. Hey besties, I just wanted to let you know or remind you that I have a link in my description box for my mega videos. Those are the longer videos. Those are the kind I like to watch when I'm crafting. So if you feel that way too, check them out. I'm using this Dollar Tree sign. It's actually really cute as it is, but I want to do something else with it. So I sanded off the glitter and I'm going to hot glue some craft paper to the back so it looks nice and finished. I'll go ahead and trim that piece off. And then if you notice up in the right corner there, I've got a little truck with the hearts in it for Valentine's. My husband loves those trucks, so I'm going to make him a little sign for his office area. And I'm going to hot glue to fill in those holes and then sand it. Just a quick, fast way. I could have used some wood putty or spackle, but I had the hot glue gun ready to go. And I have this really cool Scottish themed scrapbook paper that I got a while back. And he is part Scottish, as am I, and we both love all the different plaids. So I'm going to use this one, and I don't know which clan it represents, but we just like the colors. And I'm going to cut it out to match the sign. And then I'm just going to use this Thermabond glue, I think it's called, and it's just as good as Mod Podge. I don't put it over the top when I'm done. I just go ahead and use it to adhere something very thick, and the stuff will stay forever. So I'm going to stick that right on there. I'm going to get my brayer out, which is just a little roller with a handle, and just make sure to get out any bubbles and make sure that every part of the scrapbook paper makes contact with the sign. Window cling, the little truck that I showed you before, and I'm going to go ahead and sand off all those sparkles because it is going in my husband's office area. And after I get all of those sparkles sanded off, I'm actually going to go over it with some paint, and I'm going to put some red back on, but I'm also going to add some other colors and darken the black and the hearts just to give it a little more definition. I'm going to be using my Arteza paint markers for some of this because it just got that nice point on the end, and the colors go on so well, and it's so much easier to use than a paintbrush. So that is what I'm going to do with some of these colors here. Now, since this is just a fun Valentine's kind of a thing, I'm not going to distress this or make it look very old. I'm going to use the silver colored paint marker from Arteza, and I'm just going to add chrome to the wheels, around the parts of the car and in the windows. So I'm making this just fun. And now that I'm finished with the painting of the truck, I'm going to attach it to the front of the sign, and I am going to use Mod Podge for this. So I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to lift up one half, put down the Mod Podge, and then lay down the cling, and then go to the other half and do the same, and then I am going to put Mod Podge all over the top. Remember when I filled those holes in with hot glue? Well, I wasn't really thinking at the time about the hanger. So I ended up using my crocodile and making 2 new holes, and then I've got some nautical rope, and I'm going to pull the rope through, tie the knot in the front for both of the holes, and then trim off the excess rope, and there you go. That is my hanger. You know, my husband is loving this sign. I'm so glad that he loves it. I think it's adorable. I'd love to hear what you think. I hope you guys like it. This oval blank piece of wood from the Dollar Tree. I love these pieces. They're so versatile. And I'm just going to use my heat tool to get that little tag off. And I'm going to use some ink paint from Waverly and my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to sand all around this piece, both sides and the edges. And then I'm going to do a couple of coats of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I'm going to dry it off, and then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to do what's called cross-hatching. You make all the strokes in one direction the first pass, and then the opposite direction the second pass. And I'm really sad because you can't see it in the picture, but it's really pretty. I've shown you guys before, so you probably have seen this. And then I'm going to just do the back, and I'll do the cross hatching there as well. And once that's done, I'm going to use my jot marker from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to write in what I hope will look like a Ray Dunn font, XOXO. And then after I wrote it, I was like, oh, it's a little off center. So I made a little Cupid's arrow to kind of sort of balance it. I hope that's okay. Anyway, it is what it is, and it's still cute. Then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and take some of that ink chalk paint and a little makeup sponge, and I'm going to go all the way around the edges. And then when I turn it over, I'm going to write the word kiss ... in that sort of Ray Dunn font. Now I decided I didn't like the sponge look on the side, so I took my jot marker and I just completely filled it in. And any distressing you see on either side, I went back and covered it with the white paint because I didn't like it. Anyway, I'm going to take 2 tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree and paint them in the ink color. What I'm going to create is a little stand. So I'm just figuring out how it's going to be situated, and then I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue so that this will be very secure. And I'm going to attach one piece to the one side of the sign and the other little piece to the other and line them up. And then make sure that they're even on the bottom, and then it will make a perfect little stand. And this thing will be so cute. It's small enough. It could fit on a tier tray. It could just sit on a shelf, and it could go anywhere. It's just adorable, and I love it. And this is about the easiest thing you could ever make. You could use stickers. You could use a Cricut. You could hand letter like I did, or trace. You could do it any way you wanted. You don't have to do the kind of fake Ray Dunn font, but that's just what I wanted to do. I hope you guys love this one as much as I do. For this project, I'm going to use a leftover ring from a Dollar Tree wreath form that I had used the rest of it, and now I'm just using my little tin snips to cut off those pieces that connected the other rings. Once I take them off, I'm going to bend this and shape it into a heart. Took a little bit of doing, but it is possible, especially once you get the pointed bottom, and then you can bend it in. And then I also had to reflatten it because I had just literally pushed it all out of whack there, but I did get it to lay flat. My husband was kind enough to go out into the yard and collect all different sizes and lengths of sticks and twigs. So I cut them so I could form them around this heart and basically make a stick heart. And I used my hot glue gun. I'm not going to show you the entire process because it did take quite a while, but I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. If I find a bent one, I use it for the curve, and then I just use smaller pieces to shape the rest. And I went about 3 high, if you will. Not an exact measurement, but just till I thought it looked full enough and covered the wire form. Once I got the wreath done and I felt like it was thick enough, I took some of my burnt umber paint and I painted the black wire form. I just wanted it to kind of camouflage into the heart itself. The next thing I'm going to do is take this large 11 by 14 frame I got at Dollar Tree, and what I want to do is I want to attach this heart to the glass piece, and I want to remove the backing so it'll be like transparent. I found these rub-on stickers or decals from Dollar Tree, and they're so cute. And so there's this little green wreath, and then there's some other pieces that I'm going to put a little one on each of the corners. I am going to attach this heart to the glass. I used some hot glue. I did paint the frame this celery color chalk paint from Waverly, and when I was all done, I didn't like it. So I ended up taping it up and painting it black. You'll see that here coming up. Now, the way I made it look like it was hanging was I took a piece of buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree and 2 pieces of rope, and I just glued those to the edges of that little ribbon, and that's just a faux hanger. It's really hot glued onto the glass where it touches. I've painted the frame black now. I feel much better about that. I added some twine in the middle of the frame, and I really think this finishes off the look, or at least I thought I did, and then I thought, nah, it needs a bow. Oh my gosh, so I added a little buffalo check bow that I got at Walmart, and it was already made. It was the perfect size, and I just trimmed a little dovetail at the ends. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's a very unusual piece, and it's Valentine's, but it can be left up any time of the year, and that's what I was hoping for. Would you have added the bow? Let me know. DIY I'm going to be using is kind of like plastic clear Dollar Tree sign, and it's got some words on it, and I have always heard that you can take it off with nail polish remover or alcohol, or it would just come right off with a blade. Well, I tried all of those things and not one of them worked on this one, so I ended up sanding it. That did get it off, but now I have a really weird texture to work with. I'm using these little kind of half bead stickers. They're little adhesive stickers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put them along the inside kind of to frame what I'm going to put in the middle. And then I'm going to place a bicycle cling. You see that up in the left hand corner there. That's one of the options from that cling on there, along with a heart, and I'm going to add some glitter. So I'm just going to stop talking and let you watch. I found this adorable ribbon for Valentine's at Dollar Tree, so I'm going to put it all the way around the outside of this little sign. I think it's super cute, and it just adds a little extra Valentine touch, and I'm using hot glue to attach it. I'm going to take that ribbon and a few other pattern ribbons that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut them into little strips, and then I'm going to cut those strips in half the long ways, and I'm going to make a messy bow. So when they're all cut, I'm going to just crisscross them all across the front of each other, and I'm going to get a little Chanel pipe cleaner, and I'm going to tie them all together. I'm going to add one little piece around the center so it covers the pipe cleaner. I will then hot glue them to the upper left corner of the sign and then kind of fluff my bow, and you'll see as I go. So this one didn't turn out exactly how it originally planned, but I actually think it's super cute and a lot of fun. You have to let me know what you think. I really hope you guys like it.
Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.